Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 1 of the WADcast. I'm your host, John.
I've got the taste for another night like this. No time wasted within your fingertips. I heard it loud and clear. You don't have to stay home, but boy, you can't stay here.
One of my major concerns is being associated with what some might call criminal activity.
How do you mean?
Okay, so Dr. Harmbringer doesn't exactly have a sterling reputation for being an upstanding citizen.
Oh, that's common misconception.
A misconception.
Can you name one law that the good doctor has broken?
He's had so many plans to destroy the city, the country, and the world.
Plans aren't actions.
Okay, well, what about conspiracy?
Well, conspiracy happens when several people prepare to commit a crime.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I'm not sure that fits the legal definition of this.
No. Oh, are you a lawyer?
Well, no.
Then shut the fuck up.
I don't wanna waste a minute. Anything you want, I'm in it. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. I don't care where we go as long as we're together. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. You wanna party or what? Endless summer, sunlight in your hair. My legs shaking, so tired of standing still. Seal the front door and leave behind the past. Skip down, push the pedal down, at least until we run out of gas. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. I don't care where we go as long as we're together. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. I don't care where we go as long as we're together. Don't take me home. Don't take me home.
And episode number 1, Working the Kinks.
Yep. Episode 99, Working Out the Kinks.
Don't wanna waste a minute. Anything you want, I'm in it. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. I don't care where we go as long as we're together. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. Don't take me home. I don't care where we go as long as we're together. Don't take me home. 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 Whatever you do, just don't take me home.
Well, good evening everybody, and welcome to WADcast episode number 100.
Oh, that clip of Brian.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of our cold reads. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, I couldn't bear to create some sort of history of us without including cold reads, and that, of course, was the best one.
Yeah, and thank you for the congratulations on the 100th episode. I believe the other one was Charlie. Did I read it right? Charlie? Okay, Charlie.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long haul. You've been there for every single one of them. I've been there for most.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whew. Done this a few times. You'd think we'd figure out what we were doing by now.
No, like I said before the show, dude, I think you and I fool ourselves with the level of where we're at with the WADcast. We used to just be like a car without an engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like especially the first, working out the kinks episode. Now, since then, we've gone from being a car without an engine to being a 1984 Chevette with covered in Bondo, flashlights instead of headlights, and mismatched wheels and tires. So that's where we're at right now.
But we're moving.
We are moving. So that's the important part.
Absolutely. Now, I saw you watching the video, and in some cases not watching.
I was trying to get things set up. I was watching it, and I was also seeing it like over here on my computer, like a delayed feed. I feel like there's a question.
No, I saw you smile. That made my episode right there.
Okay. All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Wow, episode 100 was easy. Move on to 101 next week.
Yep. So but yeah, no, it's going from something we just joked about. I think while I was finally having like a day off from working in a COVID unit, finally had some downtime. We were talking about just something to do next. Mm-hmm. And I don't think either one of us was really feeling like starting up and cranking out a new script at the time. So just like, oh, well, let's do a podcast. Okay, here we are. So
yeah, here we are, 100 episodes later.
So what was that? Let's see. Really very cute and heartwarming intro. It really was. Josh did a great job with that. He did a very good job with the heartwarming intro. Mixed with, I guess, do I not get an F-bomb now, being that Brian said it without even being on the show tonight?
You know what? I'm going to say that is correct.
Oh. Well, fuck.
Oh, you.
You know what? It was very well done, Josh. I mean, kudos. That was very well done. So, but happy anniversary, happy episode. Not anniversary. Happy 100th episode to you. But yeah,
you should send an angry message to Brian, saying that you took his he took your F-bomb.
Well, technically, he took the F-bomb because of you, though.
Well, that doesn't make it my F-bomb.
No, but you put it in there. Could have bleeped it out.
You know,
and thought about me.
I was actually considering that, and I was like, nope, we're stealing it.
Yeah, there we go. But but yeah, so I mean, we have an interesting show tonight. I have no idea what the hell we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we never do.
Yeah, we usually clear this up at least like we usually have a really good strategy at least like 5 minutes before we air. Tonight we didn't even really do that. I don't think nothing. It's just like we're just here now, figuring this out. So we're going to get there. But yeah, so I was thinking of things that we could talk about, and I don't want to talk about the history of the show because I know the history of the show. You know the history of the show. What, like our favorite guests? Like, let's not go with the least favorite guests.
No, that would be an episode we did already. Why should we repeat ourselves? And saying favorite guest is kind of rude, you know, like screw everybody else.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had our most repeated guest in Sue. She has been on the show quite a bit. Not like every other episode, but she has been on the show multiple times and hanging out. And whenever she is on the show, and she hasn't been on the show in a while, but whenever she's on the show, it's extremely vulgar and graphic. Like this show gets like an NC-17 rating when she's on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Sue, thank you for letting me be me. Huh?
That it gets a little spicy sometimes.
Yeah, it does. So, but no, it's like it's been a great 100 episodes so far. I mean, it's like there have been some that were kind of like just not to really my taste, but everyone is a lot of fun to talk and interact in, especially the ones where we have like the trolls. Like I like the fact that you included the trolls, like some of the comments that were left on our show from people that clearly don't really like us that much. And that's fine. They don't have to like us, but you know what? They did listen to us. So that being the case, they don't have to like us, but they still helped us out.
Yeah.
There's nothing more profitable than the power of hate.
Success. So.
Well, yeah. there's nothing more powerful than there's nothing more profitable than the power of hate. So look at the Island Boys. Thank God they're fading slowly into obscurity, but they have made a really good, I don't know, like bank account for themselves, kind of ish. And now they're broke again.
I wish I had less talent.
What's that?
So it kind of makes me wish I had less talent.
Yeah. And Amber, I still like you guys. Oh, Amber, thank you.
It seems
I
talent.
like me too.
I love you, Amber, using the love word. Or is that just for Brandon's benefit? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, but yeah, so it's been interesting. The whole thing has been absolutely interesting. Lots of fun, some frustration, and we always have a technical difficulty on our show. Every episode, it is an absolute inevitability that we're going to have some kind of like something go wrong.
Now,
Usually it's your mic, but
yeah, definitely that's what's happening tonight as usual. If we had the Mr. Beast money, right, and could afford that studio where everything runs perfectly all the time, we'd have to pay somebody to mess something up just so we're consistent. Now, who am I kidding?
It's like, hey, could you bang that speaker really quick? Thank you. Oh man, but yeah, so
slam it to the table a couple of times.
Yeah, and it's like we've had some outside of Sue. Now Sue's working on a lot of things. She's working on a lot of things herself right now. But there have been a lot of guests that we've had that had very interesting experiences in the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have had we've had people from let's say Brian, our friend Brian Wallace, actor, director, producer, writer. He's been on the show, and it was a lot of fun to do the cold reads with. And I know that he just got done filming something that I believe Matt actually directed. I'm looking forward to seeing it eventually. Hopefully I see it soon, The Baby. But something that he's had his hands on for a while that he just finally got, so I thought that was interesting. And then going back, Matt McCarthy.
Yeah.
My favorite stand-up comedian, Matt McCarthy. I finally got down and I watched all of the Just Roll With It.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it was good. It's
missing out on a season 2.
Yeah. It's sad that they canceled it, but that's how TV works. The fact that they even got a full season, that's a hell of an accomplishment on itself. Like that's
more than Gotham Knights is getting.
Yeah, and I heard about that. Like, I remember talking to Justin a while back about that. And he was telling me how Tyler got that role. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. It would be so great for him. It's like a big breakout role. And then
for those of you that haven't been with the WADcast Ride or Die since episode number 1, Tyler was an actor in the movie Relish, directed by Justin Ward, and was cast in a very prominent role in the was-to-be upcoming Gotham Knights TV series. So, hate to see it.
But it's like, the thing is, like, and that's one thing. You have, like, everything going on with, Warner Brothers Discovery right now, how they're axing so many things. Just axing them, like, left and right, one after the other. Just like, nope, done, next.
That girl, more like
it's like
act girl.
And I would assume that Gotham Knights pretty much wrapped the entire first season of filming. I'm pretty sure it was all in post-production at that point, like leading up to the release. And axed it. Batgirl was damn close to finished. Axed that one. Supergirl wasn't even close. That wasn't even in production. I don't think that, but I think that got canceled.
I'm pretty sure it was in production because of those set photos that were.
I didn't know there were set photos.
Oh, you didn't see the...
I saw the set photos on the Flash movie of Supergirl.
Yeah, the outrage was real.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, you have a lot of people that get so pissed off. Well, I can make a better movie. They gotta do it.
Yeah, do it.
Like, I don't have time. You don't have the talent.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Like, I may not like
talent to get money anymore.
yeah, like I may not like Zack Snyder, but I don't sit there and call him a talentless hack, and I can make a better movie. It's, I think I could write a better script, but when it comes to like actually directing, but I'll leave it to him. But you won't ever see me on any kind of like website saying I could do better. Like, well, no, I can't.
That's
I think I'm very much on like the Kevin Smith level of directing for like leading up to like Mallrats or Chasing Amy. I think that's where I'm at right now.
Now, is that pre-directing for CW or post?
Well, I'm talking about like when he directed Chasing Amy. That's about where I am with my directing prowess.
Okay, so still no camera movement, huh?
A little bit, not much, but we'll get there. Wait, cameras move?
Well, technically, some are loaded onto certain apparatusi, machines that move the cameras for you. And every once in a while, you can load them up onto some unlucky cameraman and make him schlub it around for 12 to 18 hours a day.
Oh, I did not know that. But now I know, and knowing is half the battle.
Well, I don't have anything loaded up for that. If I did, I'm going to have to load up the G.I. Joe. Well, just in case this ever comes up again, it probably won't.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, so it's like there's a lot going on with the whole thing with WB, and there's a lot of controversy in the last couple of days as they started axing all these other shows and movies. Because one thing they're not going to do is they're not going to axe the Flash. Now, this may be Ezra Miller's very last turn at the character, but all the other movies or TV shows just done.
It's got a 2023 release, the Flash movie, and I know James Gunn said, "Don't worry, Peacemaker season 2 is fine," but is it? Is it really?
See, honestly, we've had this conversation before. Warner Brothers needs to figure out what the hell it wants to be. What do they want the DC movies to be? You have an entire library of badass and colorful characters in that whole playbook of DC characters. You have a ton of them.
Iconic characters.
Oh, yeah, but it's like, how many times do we have to get a Batman movie?
Every time.
Since 1989, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Batman v Superman, Justice League. What is it? The other what do you call it? The Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're so afraid. They are doing exactly what Fox did with the Wolverine in all the X-Men movies. Oh, throw Wolverine in there. Well, he's not in the story, but they won't know it's an X-Men movie if it's not for Wolverine. Put him in there. It's a cameo. It will make no sense. Put him in. It's just like they're spewing out the same characters for like a security reason, as opposed to focusing in all the other characters.
I hear people are getting really not upset just yet, but they're getting pretty defensive over Blue Beetle. Wondering if that's going to be in the crosshairs.
I mean, I hope not. It's a different character. Just Blue Beetle's not a very popular character. I mean, it's just like it's not really a big one. So it's like, I mean, he's a big character, but I guess he's kind of like the Thor or the Iron Man kind of like figure, like if you were to go back to before these movies were made. It's like he's one of those other figures where it's like no one really cares about like a feature film with this character, but hopefully they do the right thing and this character comes out as being a complete badass.
Kind of like the fan base for the character is the fan base for the character.
Yeah.
To a very select group of people, he's a very big deal.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
mean,
a very select group.
here's what cracks me up. Let me see. Man of Steel came out. What was that? 2011, 2012,
I don't recall.
2013. Okay,
So yeah,
2013 was Man of Steel came out 2013. So let's see. Okay, so Iron Man came out in 2008, right? Iron Man 2 came out in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there.
Was it that late?
Let's see, Iron Man 2, I think it was like 2010. Yeah, Iron Man 2 came out in 2010. So then that was followed by Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was followed by Captain America. So Marvel really only had like a few years of a head start on the DCEU. Not much, right? And here we are, almost 10 years into the DCEU.
With no
We only have
with no cohesiveness.
None. There's none. And it's like, oh, well, we're going to make a standalone Batman film with Ben Affleck. No, just reboot the series. What? But we're still going to use Ben Affleck in other movies. Like,
That's
okay.
That's the unusual thing, I think, because Warner Brothers, up until last week, the week before, was the one making the DC movies.
Yeah.
Because from this point going forward, they separated.
It was a merger, right?
Studio. Well, yeah, Discovery and HBO merged, but they also spun off DC Studios as a subsidiary for all of it. So they will have a studio that's dedicated to nothing but DC films. Now the question is, are they going to do like Marvel and say every movie we make is going to be committed toward this common goal, toward this common story? Because it doesn't appear to be the case at all. They're still going to be releasing really random movies that have no connections to each other, but they're all going to be sporting the same DC Studios logo.
Yeah, and here's what I was reading earlier. Sorry to cut you off, Josh.
No problem.
The Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav, he spoke briefly about what the decisions to cancel all these shows and productions. All right. He said we're not going to launch a movie until it's ready. And as far as Batgirl, he says we are not going to launch a movie or to make a quarter, and we're not going to put a movie out unless we believe in it. Batgirl was being done before his oversight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been in development for a couple of years.
Yeah. Okay. Zaslav cited his previously reported goal of putting together a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. Similar to the approach Disney has taken with Marvel Studios, as run by Kevin Feige, but he did not announce who would be heading the team. How much you want to bet he's going to try to get James Gunn?
I wouldn't hate that. And if you read the comment section on all these fan sites, you know there is a small contingent of people that are just rooting for and for some reason expecting Zack Snyder to come back.
See, I don't understand that because Zack Snyder is like his movies are, oh God, it's like torture to me. Like watching his movies, like I enjoyed Man of Steel. I'm apparently in like a small little niche of people that really liked that movie. Yeah, there's a few scenes that didn't really make sense, but I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the process of like, you know, humanizing Superman even more. Like he's more fallible.
He made his mom work at Sears.
But beyond that, like, huh?
He made his mother work at Sears.
Well, I mean, he was unemployed. At least he wasn't living at home.
You mean where he could use his superpowers to actually work the farm? Like he always does?
God. But there are problems with the movie. Okay, he's going to save a whole bus full of kids and lift the entire bus as like a tyke out of a raging river and set them down. But while in the same town, 8 years later, when there's a tornado, he's not allowed to use his powers, and his dad sacrifices himself in a town where multiple people have their suspicions about Clark Kent having powers or being different.
Yeah, he pulled a bus out of the river. I think there were some eyebrows raised.
Yeah. Was I supposed to let them die? I don't know. Maybe. Like, damn, John. They're kids. Oh man.
Now, as a one-off flick, I could see it being considered a little bit better, but it was a universe builder, and this was not the Superman that you could, gather people around, because it's basically like the Spider-Man problem, right?
Oh, no.
Is he menace or is he hero?
Well,
Perry
what
White
cracks me
should
up
be
is
saying that.
What cracks me up is Superman didn't have any strategy. He had no strategy whatsoever. He's fighting Zod, not even trying to lure Zod away from the city. He's just plowing into buildings and everything else, just like wrecking ball style. And Batman versus Superman, Batman's like, I've got when it comes to Doomsday, I'm gonna have him follow me away from the city.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Batman. At least you have common sense.
They made that very clear. Let's get him away from the city. We're in an abandoned area, and on the newscast, in an abandoned area where there are no people around.
Yeah.
They made sure everybody knew there were no innocent people nearby.
Yeah, and Superman's like, oh shit, you can do that? Wait, Batman, that's a thing?
No collateral damage? Then how will people know I saved the city?
Oh God. Those movies are so bad.
And there's that, again, that the contingent of fans that are adamant about making this the 10-year plan. They want to go back to this. What really baffles me is how they take these signs of the cancellations and things of that nature as proof that the Snyderverse is coming back.
Yeah.
Absolutely convinced. I mean, I personally don't see it. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first person on here to say, well, I guess Snyderverse is back. But I'm not seeing it right now. Ben Affleck, he's shooting a scene for
Aquaman 2.
a movie that's coming out before The Flash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
but again, then we have
signed his last movie.
But see, and then we have the whole conundrum with the Flash going back to Ezra Miller, with all the things that are going on with him right now. Like, dude needs help. He needs therapy. This guy is a guy playing a superhero when he'd be right at home playing a villain right now.
The funny thing is, he would be a completely unbelievable villain. They'd be like, "No, this is too far out."
He's going to be
this stuff.
But after all this, he's going to be a completely unbelievable hero.
Yeah, in fact,
all this stuff's going on. You're going to go see him play this nice guy in the Flash movie that cares about everyone, and you realize the guy is just psycho. I don't even know how to describe it.
So imagine if you're, what was his name? Zaslav?
Yeah.
And you're inheriting these problems. And then, of course, the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff. You know what? putting it in that perspective, I can't not blame them for going, you know what? We need to just cut it all. We're done.
Yeah. Just take it back to the drawing board. Take your time with it. Build the universe.
Back to
Warner Brothers just
formula.
jumped. They jumped headfirst into a fucking. They jumped headfirst into a pool with 2 feet of water in it. That's what they did when they wanted to start this universe. They just jumped straight in without checking the levels. They didn't have anything to really build with. They had nothing to swim in. They just, And as they're splashing around, that's when people were starting to pour water in the pool. Like they're just like they had no plan, no nothing. You and I had discussed last night a series of scripts, most of which are already written, have to be like touched up and rewritten. But we actually built our own universe yesterday while we were talking. You look at what phase is Marvel in? They're going into what, phase 5? They're in phase 4 now, but they're going into phase 5.
Yeah, they'll be going into phase 5 next year.
Okay, so they're going into phase 5, and they have a plan for all of phase 5, and they have kind of a plan for phase 6.
Well, I'd say that the phase 6 is planned, just mostly unannounced. They saved at least 8 announcements for D23.
Yeah, but it's like that's the thing though. It's like DC. I don't think that they've ever done anything like that at all. What do you guys have coming out? It's like Man of Steel. Oh, that's cool. Yep. Like, and down the line, we're going to have like a Batman movie with Superman in it, I think.
That sounds great. A Batman.
Like,
movie.
and then we're going to have Wonder Woman, but it's going to take place back in the 1940s because it worked for Captain America. Okay, cool. And then we're going to go shoot forward to like the 1980s with Wonder Woman. Oh.
The
okay.
80s.
And then we're going to have like a Justice League movie. I don't know. Oh.
Huh.
I got nothing.
Yeah. WB right now it's seeming lacking a creative lead. At least DC Studios.
And you know what? Sony needs to follow suit as well. They need to stop putting out all these like barely even mediocre movies where like I think Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery is they're not bad guys. They're actually good guys. Like, okay, you guys have access to every Spider-Man you could possibly need. You have other characters in the Spider-Man universe that are good guys.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a movie about one of them. No. We're going to do we're going to do Venom, then we're going to do Morbius, and then now we're going to do Kraven the Hunter. Like in standalone films? Yeah. And this shows how they become bad guys. No, they're kind of anti-heroes. Like, oh, okay. Not like how they were in the comic books at first, right? Like they were just villains in the comic books. Well, no, we're going to skip all that. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Skip the whole story arc that involves Spider-Man directly for them to become anti-heroes. Gotcha. Makes sense. Like,
Sony needs to do the world a favor and say, you know what, Marvel? Here,
you're right.
Just give us a piece of the back end and we'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants to see Venom on the big screen again, facing off against Spider-Man, but in a more appropriate manner. Topher Grace, I'm sorry, didn't really cut it, even in 2007.
I mean, I at least understood the concept of, oh, this is a guy that's like Peter Parker, but he didn't have an Uncle Ben to teach him right from wrong.
Yeah. But
it's
still,
not Venom.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even like Eddie Brock. The thing is, like, what these studios are doing, these studios are butchering these characters because they're trying to copy the MCU's formula, but it's like they're reading a recipe, but they only have like the page. It's like ripped in half, so they're guessing what the other half said. Morbius. You've seen Morbius, right?
No, I haven't seen.
Okay, I'm going to spoil something. The Vulture is in it at the very end.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the characters get sucked into Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe. Somehow the Vulture got sucked out of it and got put into, I guess, it's Andrew Garfield's universe. But while in that universe, somehow he ends up there, and he also ends up there with his helmet, his wings, and everything else, all that stuff. And he recruits Morbius into being on a team where they could do some good. Like, okay. And Morbius, he's not remotely evil in the movie at all. But he decides to join a team with a... I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm not even curious enough to stick around and find out. It's like watching a Sony adaptation of a Spider-Man movie is like watching a kid play with action figures.
Yeah,
like a lot of it makes no sense, but it's something to watch.
I'm going to say something controversial, but I've said it on the show before. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, aren't as good as you remember.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time.
I watched them with my kids.
They suck.
Spider-Man 2 still is a standout.
Spider-Man 2 had some great scenes, but the dialogue in those movies is so atrocious. It's so bad.
Alfred Molina, great comic book villain.
Oh, yeah. See, if you take it at face value as like a comic book, the way they speak, you find stuff. Some things that they say actually is stuff that you would read on the page of a comic book. It's so over-the-top ridiculous. But James Franco with his Academy Award-winning acting.
And don't get me wrong, Tobey Maguire is a good actor.
Yeah.
Peter is so creepy in those movies.
Yeah, he could cry a little less, too, in those movies. It's like 3 movies of him crying nonstop. That's it. Just,
And I will say, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Andrew Garfield. I became a big Andrew Garfield fan over the last year or so.
I thought he did a good job. Like, I mean, and, when he said the whole... when people were talking, I guess when he was asked about like all the people that were excited to see him come back as Spider-Man, and he responded with, "Where were you guys during Spider-Man 2? Or the Amazing Spider-Man 2? I was like, dude, I was right here rooting for you, man. Like, just then Tom Holland came on, he knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
But I was here the whole time, like enjoying like that version of Spider-Man better than what I enjoyed of Tobey Maguire. But the thing is they're just different versions of that character. But Tobey Maguire got like the shit talking Spider-Man down pretty well. He talked a lot of smack at Spider-Man in those movies. Andrew Garfield, he kind of did too, but he was also more of like he cared. Like he was he tried to connect himself to the villains he was fighting in those movies. Tom Holland was just, he's a kid. He's a kid in a costume. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. So it was like, you had 3 different kinds of Spider-Man, but Andrew Garfield, I actually enjoyed his the most.
I think he had the most defined character arc.
Oh, yeah.
So far.
Yeah, it was like the first movie was more serious. People didn't like that first costume, but that looked like something that a kid, that if he had access to the stuff, an intelligent kid could make that himself. Like it showed how he got the lenses and everything, like even turning his wristwatches into the web shooters.
Mm-hmm.
He built all these things himself.
And he took his cockiness, and it was building up and building it up and building up until everything was taken from him.
Oh yeah.
And whether or not you like the movie or not, it's hard to argue that moment with Gwen was impactful.
Oh, it was impactful. Very impactful. Her head felt a lot of the impact. But yeah. And then like at least finally they gave him some kind of like closure in Spider-Man No Way Home, as little sense as that movie made. At least they gave him some closure on that one. I mean, let's be real. Spider-Man No Way Home was a mess of a movie. Wasn't bad. It was entertaining, but it was a big ass mess. Multiverse of Madness wasn't much better. Like, you look offended.
I don't understand these words that are coming out of your mouth.
I enjoyed it in the theaters, and I watched it at home. I'm like, huh. Okay. This makes no sense to me. All right, that's cool. Like, I'm watching the whole thing, like, all right. It's entertaining, but, you know.
I didn't have a problem keeping up with it.
No, like you can keep up with it. It's just like it's when we get off. When we get off, I'll talk to you about it a little bit more. It'll take up the rest of the show easily for me to explain everything. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. There's just so much to talk about with it.
Okay.
You look so offended.
I look offended.
You look offended.
You look
very. Oh, a little bit of both, actually. Yeah, like this mother effer right here look on your face, followed by the whole "what did you just say about my mama" look.
Yeah, well, I'm about to get betrayed.
About the what?
I'm about to get betrayed.
No, Charlie, thank you so much.
Right in the back, Charlie.
Thank you.
I need to pull this knife out because I got it right in the back.
And he's right. That's my issue. There's so many holes in logic, and there's so many plot holes. There's so much wrong with that movie.
Well,
so
you say
much.
wrong. You say wrong.
Like Okay.
Here's the thing. No problem, Charlie. Here's the thing. If I've learned anything over the years when it comes to Marvel, it's plot holes and things you think are wrong are just plot points to be explained in another movie.
Well, let's hope there's another movie where they explain the hell out of all that shit.
Considering the entire phase is all about...
I mean, come on. Seriously, like, I mean, even the end of it when everyone forgets Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Everyone forgets who Spider-Man is.
No, they forget who Peter Parker is.
Okay, they forget who Peter Parker is. They don't have to know his name, but they have worked very closely with Spider-Man so many times. With or without his mask, and some key moments happened without his mask. He saves lives without his mask on.
Mm-hmm.
They just forgot that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So whenever he has his mask on, they remember him.
Well, they probably remember him with the mask.
And digital records. Digital records, hard copies, all that stuff. Like, there's so much. There's so much there. Like, at the end when he's like, when he said that he took, like, his, what do you call it? His high school equivalency test. How? You'd have to have a social security number to do that.
Dude went off planet to fight a giant purple monster, and you don't think he can get a fake social?
It'd be criminal. It'd be illegal.
And
he'd have to have a birth certificate. He'd have to have all these things ready to go. He'd have to go down and file for it. What is erased from existence of any trace of him? What's erased from existence and what's not? Does he still have a state issue New York City ID? Does he still have a passport?
No,
Does he have these things?
None of that.
Okay. So then how the hell did he get a social security card to register for school to take his high school equivalency test? I mean, he's got to have something to show that he's not an undocumented, citizen here in the United States. He's got to have proof.
Again,
Doctor Strange is so irresponsible in that movie. Oh yeah, no, Doctor Strange is. Doctor Strange blamed Peter Parker on messing up the multiverse, and Doctor Strange, look what he does in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like, he just must have messed everything up.
Doctor Strange, his whole every time he shows up on screen, it's about his ego.
Yeah, that's it. His ego and messing with time and space. That's all he does in anything he's in. He's the guy that screws things up. But yeah, there's just so much to unpack with that movie. Like it really is. You know, all the drones were Spider-Man's, I guess. But now they're Peter Parker's drones because they're passed on to him from Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But now that no one remembers who Peter Parker is, what do they think happened in Europe with Mysterio? What happens to any recordings of Spider-Man?
We went over this.
It makes no sense.
We're erased it all.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about magical beings and spells and people swinging from, spider webs, and you're like,
but Doctor Strange always fucks things up.
Security number.
Doctor Strange always messes his spells up, though. He's constantly messing them up.
He was a little extra distracted this time.
And why does MJ still wear that necklace? She liked it because Peter Parker gave it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it turned into, well, she just always had it.
I have so many questions. You'll never convince me.
I don't
Nope.
need to convince you. It has no bearing on my enjoyment of the films.
It should. Bitch, if I don't like something, you don't like something. We are of one mind. We are of a hive mindset and mentality.
Read the comments, monkey boy.
He should have asked him if he called the school before he risked the universe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Doctor Strange, he, woulda, coulda, shoulda, a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, Doctor Strange just it's like he was trying to be like the cool kid. He was trying to be like popular by association with Peter Parker. And he gets his ass kicked in the mirror dimension and gets beat by math.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's one of those things where he comes out of it and Wong's like, what happened? He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
It was still fun.
They have Tobey Maguire cured, Green Goblin. Max was cured. The Sandman was cured. Everyone gets cured. Aunt May gets kebabbed. And then we finally hear it for the first time in almost 20 years. With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
But going back to a point I was going to make earlier, we're talking about Sony and Marvel and the differences in their styles, right?
Yeah.
I know Thor: Love and Thunder is another one of those divisive movies. People say it's the worst ever, and
I don't think it's the worst ever.
no, I don't either. I don't even think it's the worst Marvel movie, because I told you that I looked at it through a certain prism.
Yeah.
Things sort of made sense to me. Because so basically what it amounted to was, after hearing the setup, I knew not to take any of it seriously.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, well, first of all, you know what? Yes, Charlie, that was classic Spider-Man.
No, it really was. I just saw the comment. That really was classic Spider-Man.
But Thor: Love and Thunder, in case you haven't heard, is a comedy. It's a comedy. It's one for the chuckles. That's it. It's a straight up genre comedy.
Yeah.
But you know what else is a comedy? Venom 2.
Yeah, that they just see that's where Sony needs to stop. They had such an amazing character with Venom alone. And then you have an even more badass character in Carnage. And yeah, we got that.
And they made it a comedy.
Yep.
A
I would actually
literal
dare to say
comedy.
that I would actually kind of say that was more like a buddy comedy than it was an actual Venom versus Carnage thing.
Yeah.
It was like Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy were kind of like buddy in that movie, but it's like the symbiotes were, at odds with each other. But
After
whole scene, huh?
After everything he's been through, and after Ragnarok, Thor can get away with making a comedy, like a straight up comedy.
Oh yeah.
Venom.
But I mean, the thing is, like, Thor is a character in the series that loses so much since its introduction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he lost his brother in Thor, as far as we knew at the time. He lost his brother. Then we found out he didn't lose his brother, but he did because his brother's allegiance to him was no longer there on any level whatsoever.
Right.
Like you see Loki for who he is. But he's lost so much. Then he lost his mother in Ragnarok. Then he loses Odin. Then he Dark World. He loses his mom, and he loses Odin in Ragnarok. And then cut to this one. It's been out for a minute. I'll spoil it. He loses Jane in this one. After getting reconnected to her and everything else, Mjolnir was what was keeping her alive. Spoiler alert. So all this goes down. Like, give the man, like, as much as he lost, he has struggled. He lost to Thanos, and he struggled for years with depression following that. Mm-hmm. So any lighthearted stuff that he's in, like, yeah, it's well earned and well deserved, and you can kind of see like that this is him, I guess, more or less, I want to say, coping with those losses.
Yeah,
it's what it's done to him. Like, he's no longer this diehard, serious, like, bloodthirsty god that he was in the first Thor movie. He's a guy now. Like, he's beaten and broken so much that he had to repiece himself back together, which makes it funny.
And let's not forget who he's been hanging out with since Infinity War, right?
Oh yeah. But it's like, that's the thing though. It's like, and then you have these other movies where it's just like Carnage is not a character that, like, the whole scene where at the end of Venom 2, when they're fighting in the chapel, and he refers to Venom as father. Die, father. The priest, like, he's like, what? Not you, father. You, father. Like, what? Really? Okay. And then he eventually bites the priest's head off. He's like, oh, level up. And just, well, bitch, why didn't you do that from the get-go? You could have been like the size of a building. Which I don't remember ever happening with Carnage in any of the comic books, where he grew to the size of a building, depending on whatever. I don't remember that at all.
I think the real question is, who disrespects the characters more? Sony or DC?
Sony. DC's heroes are still heroes. DC's villains are still villains. They may be comedic. They may be friends with other villains. That has always been the case with DC, though.
But was Superman a hero?
Huh?
Was Superman a hero?
Eventually. After he embraced who he was, he became a hero. But
that happened in what, Justice League?
I'd say more Batman versus Superman. But the thing is, like, with Sony just loves the idea of making anti-heroes. Because I assume they have just like a limited catalog available to them.
They only have the Spidey pantheon.
Yeah, because they don't want to buy anything else because Who wants to watch the Avengers? Like, oh,
Yeah.
20 years later, how's that feel?
And Disney used those Avengers nobody wanted to buy back the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Yep, and the Inhumans and all of them. So
glad everybody's coming back home, although the distribution rights for Hulk are still there.
See, and I would honestly be good with them making an X-Men movie with the characters, because I know with them they can't recast the characters. Is that what it was? They cannot recast the characters?
Not for another 2 or 3 years.
Okay. See, I'm good with them bringing back the actors, aside from Jennifer Lawrence. I'm good with them bringing back the actors that portrayed people like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Storm. I thought the girl played Storm. I thought she did a great. She was a badass, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nightcrawler, I loved Nightcrawler. He's always been one of my favorite X-Men. Beast. Like, I mean, I don't know what Nicholas Holt's been up to lately, but I mean, I haven't really seen his name in a whole lot of things. So I think he might have some available time. Cyclops was not insufferable the way he was in the other X-Men movies. Like, he actually had a personality. So you could bring these characters back. And I think that those actors and actresses actually deserve a round as the X-Men in a series helmed by a company that has more care about the characters than what Fox did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Fox is a company that made, I think, the 1990 whatever Fantastic Four just to maintain the rights to the movie.
Yeah, Richard Corman.
Yeah, and it never got released. You can find it on YouTube. Listen, guys, if you ever get a chance to watch this on YouTube, watch it. It is hysterical. It's so bad. But I maintain the Thing in that 1990 film. They did a great job on him. The prosthetics and animatronics that bring Thing to life. Oh, they just rocked out with it. But so I'd have to say Sony. Sony disrespects the villains. So they disrespect the characters so much because they're trying too hard to build a team of superheroes out of villains because they only have the catalog that went with the Spider-Man character, and it's only a handful of those characters.
It seems like everybody else can do a pretty good job with those characters. Like look at any of the Spider-Man cartoons.
Well, yeah. Now I don't know why. And here, that's the other thing that cracks me up. I don't understand why some of these companies cannot look at the actual animated material, and be like, that's actually a damn good idea.
Mm-hmm.
We should do something like this. That would make sense. The DCEU, if they just if they watched the animated series, the animated movies, come on, who the hell would not want to watch Batman versus what was it, Justice League Doom? Where all the bad guys are ganging up on the good guys and they kind of have one up on them. Who would not want to watch that stuff? You find out that was all Batman's contingency plans against against his own teammates.
Injustice.
Injustice. Injustice is a brilliant storyline, and it utilizes all the characters, and you can make that one dark and gritty as shit. They kind of, I guess, tapped on it a little bit with Justice League Black and White, or the Snyder Cut. They kind of touched on it just a little bit with Superman turning evil. But to my understanding, they wanted to make Lois have a kid with Batman or something.
Something like that.
Do you guys not understand your own characters?
It is easy for us to sit here in an armchair quarterback, but I think if anything, you and I both, we watch, we listen, we read, we pay attention more than anything. And Marvel does the same thing. And what they do, I think better than anybody, is understand just how they really completely changed the game. Because until the MCU, yeah, there were universe movies before, right? Kevin Smith's been doing it for years,
Oh yeah.
but no one really outside of Kevin Smith or and I'm only going to half-heartedly say Kevin Smith because all of his movies weren't building towards a goal; they were just all connected. But in the MCU, what they've created is a large living universe where every time a movie comes out or a TV show comes out, you're checking into it.
Yep.
When before that, filmmaking has always been okay. If you're going to tell more than one story, this is the series. That's it. If you want to tell a single movie, that's the series. That's it. It's not just a matter of being connected. It's a matter of moving the universe forward that they've built instead of looking at movies as either one-offs or a trilogy or anything like that.
Yeah, but you have other movies though that share a universe. Getting back to before Kevin Smith, Indiana Jones and Star Wars. They share a universe.
I mean, they share Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. I think a reference to the characters in an Ancient Tomb would actually be considered a shared universe at some point. Because you have C-3PO and R2-D2 on the hieroglyphics of one of the tombs that he's in.
Yeah.
E.T. in Star Wars, which means E.T. is connected to Indiana Jones, which makes a scene where E.T. is trick-or-treating and he sees a Yoda costume really just suspicious.
I know you.
Yeah. I can explain why why E.T. goes running to Yoda.
It does.
So really, okay, there's
a long time ago.
Huh?
Said Star Wars does take place a long time ago.
But I mean, and that right there that means E.T., Indiana Jones, and Star Wars is all in the same universe.
Well, until there's some sort of big crossover movie, it doesn't matter.
How do you know Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was not on a variation of the same species as E.T.?
I don't. I don't think anybody associated with the film knows either.
I really don't think so. Yeah, just guys, go ahead, do stuff. Like what? Oh no, what feels right? Where's the script? What?
Although I have to say, the ending might have been like a million times better if, the aliens pop out and suddenly it's a bunch of ETs,
Xenomorphs. And face huggers.
And that's when we get Indiana Jones versus Alien.
Indiana Jones and oh my god, my chest hurts.
What was his girlfriend's name in that one?
Marion.
Mary, yeah. Okay, so imagine they're doing the whole thing. Marion's there, and the face hugger latches on to their third, whoever their random third person is.
Shia LaBeouf.
That works. So he looks at him. Face hugger latches on to Shia LaBeouf, and Harrison Ford, doing his Indiana Jones thing, says to Marion, "I thought you were clingy." All right, kid. No need to make out with the alien.
Oh, God.
But of course, they don't know the egg's been planted. And then the alien pops out with a little Indiana Jones hat on its head.
Yeah, using his tail as like a whip.
Exactly.
It brings me back to what was the movie where oh god, was it Airplane? No, Spaceballs. Where the little xenomorph comes out and starts doing the whole "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello." Like, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great if he did that, but he's got like a little Indiana Jones hat, like a jacket and everything else, and he's got like the whip, like the tail wrapped around him like it's a whip. That'd been awesome. But yeah, damn. No, there's a lot of shared universes. Kevin Smith just kind of does it right because he keeps it grounded in reality for the most part. So, but and I know I said this to you the other night when we were talking. And I stand by it. I hope to God that Clerks 3 is the final entry in his Viewers universe because it's for it to start with Clerks and end with Clerks 27 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a hell of, like that's awesome. Like just
yeah.
Time to stop now. It's like it's been a great universe that you built. Just stop it and move on to something else. You can still have the same kind of humor, just do something else.
Or take up his rightful place, heading up the stories for DC Studios.
Yeah, and that's fine too. Just something. Just move on now. Like you began the series. I'm sorry, you ended the series the way you began it, which to have an entire series, a universe, take place over 20. Actually, I think 28 years, right? I think Clerks was 94.
You're probably.
So about 28 years. But I don't think that has ever been done before with any filmmaker, where a large portion of their films and their repertoire are all linked to each other somehow, some way. Every single one over the course of almost 3 decades.
And he wrote all but one of the films he's directed.
Which one did he not write?
Cop Out?
No, yeah, no, that's not the same universe though.
No, I'm just saying in general.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think he wrote every single thing that he's directed over the last 28 years.
With that singular exception.
Yeah.
And talking about features only because TV's different.
Yeah. But like for him to do that, like I mean, it's got to be a worldwide record. It's got to be like in the Guinness books. Like I mean, he's had such a tremendous career. Like I mean, it's time to end it now.
Well,
Say goodbye to the characters and just
could you
kind
say
of
that Quentin Tarantino has done that
to an extent, but
it's less obvious about his movies being connected.
No, I know because I know the whole I know characters are connected from Pulp Fiction to Reservoir Dogs to like all those things. Like I mean, Hateful Eight, all of it. Like Inglourious Basterds, they're all connected to the other characters somehow, some way. They're all related or worked with them or something. But Kevin Smith has passed from one character to another, and he's had it all connected to Jay and Silent Bob. They've been like the connecting rod for all the movies, pretty much.
They're the Wong these days.
Yep.
Or the other way around.
Oh God. Oh.
What are you looking at, Brandon?
I got tagged in something. Sorry, I thought it was a comment. I'm like, oh no. I get messages now when someone tags me in something. So, but anyway, I am going to have to end this, sir.
You don't have that authority. You don't have the power.
What's this little red X button do here?
I don't know. Oh, that's what it does. Well, if you want people to know where to find you, Brandon, too bad. Oh, well, I guess that's our show for tonight. I hope everybody had fun celebrating our 100th episode. It really has been of course, It really has been a wild ride for these last couple of years. And I'm so glad it's a journey that we've all decided to take. But just for, the sake of making sure everybody gets their stuff out there, go to wadcomedia.com, the WADcast.com, or you can find me directly on Twitter at SkidComic. All of the links that you need to reach Brandon, you can find at wadcomedia.com, and all of the social media pages for the WADcast, as well as our other wonderful Wadco Media shows, can be found there as well. But you know what? Since the old Brandito Burrito is not here, I am going to go ahead and... That's right. Oh, crap. It happened.
What?
You came back.
Yeah. I actually didn't mean to press the button. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, watch me touch it, and then I accidentally touched it, and then I kicked myself out. So, but it's okay. I'm back, guys. It's okay. I'm back. Yeah, but
see how the show continued. The show went on. You ended nothing.
So now that I'm back in the show, do I have like another F-bomb? No? Okay. I'll behave. No, but I do apologize for that, but I do have to get going. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. I didn't mean to kick myself out of the show. I was just joking with Josh, and I'm looking at this red button with like white X in it, and I accidentally hit that button, and now we know what happens.
Yeah.
So
the one that's clearly marked leave studio. That's
yeah, well, mine just says leave, but I didn't mean to actually hit it. I was like, oh yeah, watch me be coy about this.
You were like, leave foliage.
Oh man, leave a tip. All right, but anyway, so if you guys want to follow me, jump over to my Instagram and my Twitter, bjackman1982. You can also follow us at thewadcast.com, and both Instagram and Facebook.com/thewadcast. You will know our page by the profile picture, which is a black picture with a white banner that says WADcast in it. Give us a follow, give us a like, and just show some support. Help two crackers out here.
Give us $1.
Yeah, give us like 20.
Yeah,
you give us like $10, Josh will show his boobies.
It's true.
It is.
And they're
only cost me 50 cents. But anyway, so yeah, by all means, give us a follow, and don't forget to tune in every single Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what your clocks are like in the mid sections or in Hawaii. I don't really care because I live in Los Angeles. So let's make sure you catch us.
East to Hawaii.
Okay, so like in Hawaii, you're like 4 p.m. then. But so still, just jump on board, follow us, comment like my mom and Charlie and Amber did tonight. Just hang out with us. People. Yeah, and if you're a hater, by all means, hang out with us and say some shit. I would love it.
Make fun of us.
So yes. But that's really all I've got. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a great night, and thank you for listening to our 100th episode. Josh, you don't look 100 episodes old. You look like maybe like 25.
I feel 200 episodes old.
No, I don't. But you have a great night, buddy. I will give you a call later on. Ladies and gentlemen, may the force be with you. Bye. Leave.
So now back to the music. I already showed you how to get a hold of us. So let me send you off with this final thought. For the 100th time. Actually, Actually, if you want to be honest, there's a few episodes that went missing, and it's actually like episode 105. But if we can't find them, they don't count. There we go. So episode 100. The message is, it's just as true from episode 1 as it is today. You know, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. You can follow them at any time you want, and you should probably do it today. Because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. The world's a crazy place. If you want to write. All it takes is a pen and a paper. If you have a computer, that makes things a little bit easier. And you know what's really cool? If you have a typewriter, that would be so cool. You know? If you want to shoot something, guess what? Phones have cameras that are capable of that. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be the next Marty Scorsese with the phone movie that you shot, but at least you did something. All you got to do is start. The skill sets build. You learn more and more as you do it. And you're not going to learn anything until you start. So don't get started tomorrow. Get started today. And remember, we'll always be here for you every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here from WADco Media. Thank you all for joining us for the 100th episode. It has been my pleasure to talk about crap with you. Have a great, glorious, and